welcome back to Shadow and Bone. I know, it's been a long time, but it's good to be back. And we once again have a different intro, but this is definitely my least favorite of the three. What are we looking at here? What kind of tree is it? Oh, this is not a tree. Whoa, that looks so cool. I will bet if you're a book fan, that moment was like, oh my god. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but that does look cool.
This is going to take more work than I expected. Fetch my kid.
Utter respect.
I weirdly like her. I don't know
really,
why, but she gives good vibes, you know?
Stop. Yes, I smell like horse.
Ooh.
I was on one for 2 miles. And I understand old Ravkin, and that was really quite rude.
I'd start by making her eyes in a shoe, Miss Seffin.
Excuse me, fuck off. Don't know who the fuck you think you are.
Don't change my eyes.
Aww.
I care that you look terrible.
It's funny that her looking terrible looks better than I will ever look. Oh. So she's a healer?
You're a healer.
I am a tailor.
Oh, my first tailor, okay. So is she able to actually heal the wound, or does she just like cover it up cosmetically? I don't really know what's happening, but I'm finding myself liking her character much more than I have the previous 2 episodes in this very brief encounter.
They wouldn't keep a fraud in the most secure location in all of Ravka.
Or would they?
You said you have a contact who can get us inside.
She despises involuntary service more than she does Fjördens.
Well, I like her a lot then. Is it just me, or does she kind of look like Rose from Titanic? I mean, it is kind of funny though that she's like, I'm against, you know, forced servitude, but I'll forcibly make people do things for me. Ah, shit. Alright, things are not looking great for her, but I can already tell I'm on her side. I like her. What, did you drop? Oh, we're just passing along time. Oh, that's right. Okay, so they needed our better.
She isn't late.
Reasonable juncture to abandon this whole sun-summer plan.
Nah.
Abandon.
Let's just do it anyways. I feel like we're gonna see Nina again, though. They put a lot of focus on her.
No detours.
Like, don't fuck around, man. No, they're focusing on him. That means he's gonna have a detour. Good man. Good. No, you were doing so good. Come on.
All right, money in. This way.
The veil does look a little ridiculous.
No one can see you until King Piotr does.
Well, you can still see her.
Is it available to all of us?
Everything here is available to all of us. The general built this home for us so we can thrive.
That seems kind of neat.
I think the Grand Palace is the ugliest building I've ever seen.
Really? It looks...
How was your rest?
It looks pretty nice to me.
Do you believe I brought you here to make a fool of you? To make a fool of both of us?
I mean, to be fair, I don't really know shit.
You'll remain here to train.
No, take your charm elsewhere. Like, I'm not buying it. I don't like this guy.
I may lead the second dance.
Like, what was the point of the veil? You could have just walked in.
I thought she'd be taller.
Well, I guess she's shooting off.
What the fuck? What?
I don't know.
Ooh. So dramatic, so theatrical. This will be really embarrassing if you are not able to do it. Did no one think maybe let's try and teach her how to do it first? Okay, never mind. Clearly, she's a fucking natural as long as, you know, the yin to her yang is touching her. Why do I feel like that's weird foreshadowing? He is almost commanding her power. If it stops as soon as he lets go, that makes me nervous. That makes me a little nervous. Aww. I don't even know who that is, but it's so sweet. I hope this is, like, for real. That seems like a bullshit little smile. I knew it. Oh, what the fuck? I kind of liked her in the first episode. What the fuck, man? I got the goat. That goat is so cute. I wonder where I'm gonna fall in terms of the debate about whether they should become one country or divide into 2. I feel like I'm probably gonna lean towards they should be split into 2, but who knows?
He's adorable.
Don't get attached.
I'm already attached. Too late.
But if I saw the names on there, I could let the idea of them go.
Oh.
This thing.
Ah, okay, so we're back to Nina. How is she gonna tie into this story? She seems so like unrelated to the other two. This looks like a really great place. So, are they not able to use any kind of magic unless they're able to make the signs with their hands? Why do I get the feeling he like kind of likes her? I regretfully want to say like fuck him and all his people, because if that's the general consensus of like Grisha are just monsters that need to be killed, fuck with that. Honestly, I just think it looks so cool. Like it's ominous and creepy. It's awesome. And it's kind of ballsy of him though to like park it inside the Fade just a little bit, just so no one finds it. Oh my god. You lovable idiot.
Can we do it on 60?
Never been done before.
Well, we're gonna have to do it now.
Plan what?
I thought you said they weren't real.
Said nothing of the sort. I just said I put up the sign myself.
You're such a dick. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. With every passing episode, I start to ship the two of them just a little bit more. Okay. Oh, okay. You're about to get your ass kicked, Alina, but
To back down.
that's all right.
Not familiar with the concept.
Damn right.
Tracker friend also liked it when I put him on his back.
Wow, you're such an asshole. Oh, come on, that's cheating. Like, you know that's not what is this? What would you call it? A deer? An elk?
Okay.
Aw. I hope they're actually just sweet, lovable idiots, because
She's just jealous.
I kind of like them. Oh, wait, I get it. Okay, it took me a minute to even realize it, but they're, like, the patterns on their uniforms signify what kind of, you know, small signs they manipulate.
From the orphanage. I'm dreaming about that stag again. I know you'd laugh.
Stag, thank you.
Tell me it's...
You are well read, aren't you? Educated.
Why is this dude
The
so
headmistress where I
creepy?
grew up said because I didn't...
I want us to be friends.
I would step
It is
so far
important
away from him.
that we are, and melding a piece of it into their body would amplify their abilities.
That's really
Sometimes the game
disturbing, actually.
But the increase in power was astonishing.
Oh.
They slaughtered
Well, I get the feeling that's gonna happen to our Alina here then.
Are you going to punch your way through the shadow fold?
I mean, I'm sure there are moments
the
when
rest
they're
of
not
you?
going to be able to use their abilities, and I'm sure it'll be handy to
Are
know
you
how
need
to
to go?
fight.
No.
His blood and bones amplify other Grisha.
Oh.
Did you know that?
Okay, well that
Can you summon
that
the
makes
power
more
on your
sense, and makes me less
I
worried.
can't.
It seems like it's making an awful lot of light and noise for them to make it across. You know, I know they said that this was a really risky thing to do, but this is just feeling riskier and riskier. And nest nearby. Oh my god.
How was your time with Bagra?
It was really nice.
Promising start.
Because that's your taster.
What, for poison?
Normally reserved for the royal family.
Every waking moment to tear down the fold.
Okay, well, bring that up with someone else. Like, what is she supposed to do about it? Fuck. That's why he brought the goat. He's like, you needed something to keep you calm.
Means we die.
I mean, if it's only 20 seconds, you might be able to make it. That other dude ran across, like, the whole thing on foot. Anyone want it? Alright, hell yeah. Fuck it up. And he still got the goat. Nice. I'm actually kind of surprised that the... Oh. Kind of surprised that the gun even works. Very stylized. I liked it. Nope, did you make it? Hell yeah.
You have always been my true north, Mal.
I'll find my way back to you.
That's so sweet.
I am to survive this.
I swear to God, if they don't get a reunion, I'm gonna be very upset. That's not it. Don't fucking A, man. Alrighty, very solid episode. I'm surprised that we got so much of a focus on Alina now in the 3rd episode. Like, she's obviously been a major focus in episode 1 and 2, but this episode almost entirely felt like her episode. I feel like the brief moments we got to see the crows, if you were to compare it side by side, you know, she would have gotten much more screen time. But I almost feel like that was a smart play, because the first 2 episodes honestly don't set Alina up to be a very memorable character, in my opinion. She's, you know, pretty much your standard young adult novel heroine. And I wouldn't say there's anything in this episode to necessarily change that, but this is the first episode where you get a lot of her personality, or a lot more of it. And the first 2 episodes seem to set up the personalities of a lot of other characters. So to kind of wait for this moment to make her a little bit more interesting after you've gotten through the mostly stereotypical stuff, I actually think was kind of a smart move. That being said, there's obviously still a lot of tropes that they're going through here. You know, she's the new kid on the block, and there's that one person who has been training and is just so perfect at everything and can't stand that this other person is here, not only stealing the spotlight from her desire to be with Kerrigan, but also the center of attention as, you know, the most badass person. And then of course they have to, you know, face off because they've got themselves a little rivalry, and Alina gets her ass kicked. And something that I find to be unique and also kind of stereotypical is the fact that there are now these mystical creatures that are out there, super rare, and if a Grisha kills one of them, they absorb, or if they kill them and then like put a part of the animal's body somehow into their own, which is really freaky. I don't like that. They get their powers like super amplified, which means obviously Alina is gonna have that happen to her. Or maybe they'll switch it up and they'll be like, oh, actually the villain is the one who gets this super enhanced power set, and she has to learn how to beat the villain, you know, with her own power, which they come to find is, oh my god, it's insane. I could see it going either one of those ways. But I think it's stereotypical in the idea of like, oh, well, obviously our main character is going to come across this extremely rare source of some kind of power enhancement. But I also find it unique because it's not as simple as like, oh, you know, you just go up to this animal or whatever and you kill it and then you take its power. It's a little bit more than that. It's you have to take a part of its body, which is originally from the fingers of this other Grisha from a long time ago, which again, that's kind of disgusting, but it's also, it's interesting. I've never heard of that shit before. Well, I've heard of stuff like that, you know, in fairy tales and stuff, but still, it's not the most common thing. But yeah, the idea of having to take a part of its body and like meld it into your own to amplify your power, it makes it seem like something that actually has some kind of consequences, you know? It's not just like, oh, you've slain the beast, now here's your power. It's like, you've slain the beast, now you have to like disfigure yourself or, you know, permanently alter a part of you in order to achieve this goal of power. I don't know, I kind of like it. It's almost like an anti-cop-out, which I think is cool. I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but the tailor that Alina meets is so cool. I actually really like her. She's clearly been playing the political game for a long time, and as she said, she's almost as rare as a sun summoner, so that's pretty dope. And not gonna lie, her powers, like if I could choose to have any of these, honestly, I'd probably choose this one. The ability to just alter your appearance, just itty bitty little tweaks or major differences, just because you can. Like, ah, that sounds so cool. I would never have dark baggy eyes ever again. But besides that, as I said, you know, she's been playing this game for a while, so it's kind of cute how she finds Alina endearing just because of her innocence. She literally is like, oh, you sweet summer child. Rather interesting as well that Kerrigan is able to amplify other people's powers, and Alina makes a point like, no, people can't do that, actually. So that makes me wonder, why is he able to? Is he somehow one of these like mythical creatures that born of the finger bones of this Grisha from a long, long time ago. That'd be kind of an interesting twist. I don't think it would be insanely shocking, but it would be one of those like, really? Where are you going to take the story with that angle? But at the moment, I can't really think of anything else because, you know, it's early days. They're only hinting at things. The whole subplot with Nina, it's kind of weird because it does feel a little out of place. Like they introduced it pretty nicely by being like, yeah, this is the heartrender that we were gonna have on our journey, but, you know, because of shit luck, he's currently on a much worse path. So I'm not sure what they're setting up with the whole thing, if it's gonna be one of those things where 5 episodes from now it's really satisfying watching her kill him, or if there's like a weird enemies to lovers romance kind of story going on here, or if he's just not important and I'm reading into it entirely too much. I don't know. Bottom line is, I do really like Nina, but I still stand firm on the fact that I think it's kind of hypocritical. She's like, I'm super against slavery. That's really fucked up. But I will use my powers to make people do what I want. Like, you're enslaving their minds. It's kind of the same thing, Nina. The scenes of the crows going through the fold were decent, but a little underwhelming. I wasn't like really freaking out the way I think they would want the audience to. It was decent, and I enjoyed some of the comedy, especially with the goat. Seemed almost a little too easy though. Honestly, I feel like if you're gonna cross the fold, I'd be cool with like a 2-episode arc for that journey, just because of, you know, all the terrible ways it could go wrong. It felt like one thing went wrong and they got attacked, but then Jasper just shot them and they got away. Bad, but it was underwhelming. Cinematography in this episode was, as usual, very good. There were some shots that I liked quite a bit, some visual effects that I liked quite a bit. Music in the episode was pretty much standard for the show as well. Again, nothing that stood out to me as something I just have to listen to again, but everything suited the scenes and the emotional moments, particularly the moment when Inej is talking about her parents and, you know, having hope that maybe she can get some kind of closure there. That was really good. As for acting, I'm going to give it to Jessie May Lee. I think she did a very good job in this episode. Not only was this the episode where I genuinely started to connect with her character more and start to like her more, but it felt like I finally got to see her really get to work off of more difficult content. Like when you have a scene with 2 actors, you know, going back and forth, as long as at least one of them is good, usually the other can kind of feed off of that energy. But it's really hard when you have to act alone. Like, you're the only one in the room, you're the only one reacting to anything. And she had quite a few scenes here where she was, you know, left alone, and you got to see her mentally struggling with all these different things going on in her life. Like, she's happy because she finally gets all these fancy clothes and food, and on the surface everything seems pretty cool, but she also unbearably misses Mal, and she felt like she really did have a place and belonging as, you know, a map maker in the army. And here she definitely hasn't found her place yet, so she's really struggling with that. And again, I think she did a great job expressing it in pretty much every scene that she was in. Editing and pacing, it was a fairly slow pace, but considering a majority of the episode is about Alina and setting up this whole other world of Grisha and what it's gonna be like to train, I think that makes perfect sense and was the right choice. But to make sure that there wasn't, you know, 0 plot progression in this episode, they made sure that the crows, you know, made it through the fold. So I think they did a good job in terms of pacing by making an otherwise slow episode have some more exciting parts. Overall, I'm gonna give this episode an 8 out of 10. I think it was better than the last one. Introduced me to some new characters that I really enjoyed, got me to really like Alina. I'm enjoying the world building and all the little nuances that come with that. But I will say there still hasn't been anything on this show that's really, really impressed me and made me think, holy shit, that was so cool. Everyone needs to watch this. So far, I'm still at that point where I'm like, yeah, it's good, but not much else. So, I mean, we're gonna see exactly what all the fuss is about one way or another. Because I've also seen a lot of people say the show is trash, it takes forever to get going, and even when it does, it's still not that good. Other people who say it's amazing. Some people who say it's a very faithful adaptation, other people who say it's not. So I mean, I haven't seen one like unified consensus on this show since it's come out, which is actually kind of impressive. I'm very curious to see where I end up falling. But that's going to do it for this review. I will see you all next week. I am very curious to see where we're going with all this, because even though I haven't been, amazed by the show yet, the story has done a good enough job pulling me in, and I want to know what happens. So I'll see you all then. And that's about it.